Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen, if you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. Yeah, I got your attention now, right? Number two, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Number three, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Number four, you can make money from your podcast. That's right. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum viewership. Number five, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So right now, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
What's up, everybody? You are listening to the What Now podcast, where we discuss ways of effectively addressing life's most difficult moments. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the What Now podcast. That's right. The What Now podcast, where we discuss positive ways about effectively facing life's most difficult moments. And remember, we no longer call those words difficult moments, or those moments difficult. And you might say, well, why do you keep repeating it? Because that's the tagline for the show. Okay. But we have taken that word difficult out. Boom. And we have placed defining in place of the word difficult. Why? Because we understand that regardless of the challenges that come with those moments, we have the ability to define those moments in our lives. We have the right, we have the ability. And what else do I always say? We have the right to do it. We have the ability to do it. And I can't remember the other one on today. But anyway, I want you to understand that you can define the moment. Don't allow the moment to define you, and don't you label the moment something that isn't productive for your life, for your purpose, for your family, for your vision, for whatever you have going on. All right. My name is Clifton Pettyjohn. I'm a purpose strategist, author, transformation coach, and spiritual leader. I provide tools and strategies to transition individuals from merely existing to living a life full of purpose. That's right. A life full of purpose. There is purpose residing inside of each and every one of you. You don't believe me? Pinch yourself. Now, maybe you may pinch yourself and don't have a reaction. Here's what I want everybody to do. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. If you were able to do that simple exercise with me, then I am here today to let you know that you have passed the test to determine if purpose resides in your life. Why? Because as long as there is breath left in your body, purpose yet remains. So I just want to encourage you, for the sake of the podcast, I forgot to say this part, for the sake of the podcast, you can call me Cliff. Guys, we're going to do a little mix up with the podcast as well. I have, since I believe it was the end of November, beginning of December of 2019, we have done the podcast where all you've heard from is me. Now, I know each and every one of you have fallen in love with my voice and my perspective, and just fallen in love with the personal encounter you have with me every time I upload an episode. Listen, you can't all have me to yourself though, okay? And I can't just have each and every one of you to myself. So I am expanding the borders of the What Now podcast. That's right. I'm expanding the borders, and I'm opening it up to guests. We have a guest coming up. I believe it'll be by the time you hear this podcast, he may have already aired. He may have already aired, but I just wanted to, I guess I'm letting you guys know late. Because unlike my radio show is live. This is not live. But you will have heard him, and I want to bring an understanding to you guys. I know originally I said that it would just be me talking because of what I do on Transformation Radio. For those who do not know, shameless plug here. I am the host of Transformation Radio, where we transform lives through purposeful conversations, regardless of how uncomfortable and unpopular those conversations are. On that show, I invite guests in. Sometimes we have weekly shows. Sometimes the shows are bi-weekly. Sometimes they're monthly. It all depends on my schedule and the availability of the guests that I desire to have on. But I have a lot of guests on that show, so I created this platform, for you guys to hear from me. But occasionally I want to bring others in with different perspectives about life, different experiences from lives, and different what now stories, guys. Everybody has a what now story, especially in the days and time we're living in right now, because we're all facing a what now story. Why? Because what was normal to us no longer is. So we've all encountered what now moments in our lives, and I believe that I can bring some other people to add weight and value to this platform, and that will encourage you and what you're going through based upon the things that they have been through. So just to let you know, every now and then we will have guests on the show. If you're out there and you are changing this world and you have been through some what now moments and you have taken those what now moments and it has allowed you to maximize or reach a maximum potential, or not maximum potential, but you scaled up. You've learned from those experiences and now you're changing the game. Reach out to me at info@cliftonpettyjohn.com. Let me know you're interested in being on the show. Also leave your website, leave a picture so that I can put a face with the person that's giving me this information. Okay. You don't have to have a lot of experience, because I'm also into helping people that are just beginning out, because sometimes I know it is not easy to get your foot in the door. But God told me years ago and reminded me recently that he called me to be a door, called me to be a door and to be a bridge. So I want to be a door for you and open up opportunities for you. You never know who's listening. And I want to take this time to thank all of our listening audience. I know this is probably the longest intro I've ever done, but I want to thank our listening audience for taking time to listen to the podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you. If it were not for you, there'd be no podcast. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your support. And listen, at the end of the podcast, we're going to do something new. And I want you guys to take advantage of it. I want you to take advantage of it because it's going to be a giveaway attached to it. Okay. So let's get started. What are we going to talk about on today's podcast? I'm so glad you asked. Anthony Baker Jr. is the CEO of a nonprofit community organization called Helping the Homeless. As an organization, they are committed to changing lives and making others smile. In addition to providing hands-on services for the homeless community all over Philadelphia, they also have a Big Brothers mentoring program where participating youth are taught the value of giving back to their community. To learn more about the organization, call 215-487-8589 or email them at hthphilly@gmail.com. So today, here's what I'm going to do. Listen, I'm talking to everyone that has ever supported me, everyone that has done it in the forefront, everyone that has done it in the background, those that have been here physically, pushing me to be everything that I could be, those who have inboxed me, those who have texted me, those who have emailed me, those who have told others about my radio show, my book, my merch, my services, my podcast, about me. I want to thank you on today. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of you, regardless of what phase of my life you were there and the role that you played in my life. I want today's podcast to push you. That's right. I want it to push you. We're all going through some challenging times right now. As I said, one of the things that I love about God is that God will never, leave us second guessing as it relates to what we've been called and created to do. Now, we may find ourselves second guessing. However, we cannot blame that second guessing on the creator. Sometimes we start to second guess what it is that we've been called and created to do because our expectations don't match the expectations of the creator. Our timeline doesn't match the timeline of the creator. We are looking at who's supporting us, and we don't even realize the support that's going on in the background. This week, I was blessed. Those who may not know, you can visit www.cliftonpettyjohn.com/store. I just released a webinar. I want you all to go and invest in your now to produce a future that's connected to your purpose. It's called Embracing Your Weird. Embracing Your Weird. God gave me a tremendous acronym to go along with the word weird. We put it on a t-shirt. You can purchase a tee on the website as well. But I really want you guys to listen to the webinar. Okay. A young lady wrote me. She's actually a little bit older than me, but she wrote me and she was telling me, what you said really blessed me. And I had no idea what she was talking about because it didn't come through, attached to anything that I had said or a video I had done or a podcast episode. It wasn't attached to it. So I said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But can you tell me what I did? And she began to tell me she was listening to the preview. And it is a preview available on my Instagram as well as on my Facebook and the YouTube as well. You can just go to those platforms and type in Clifton Pettyjohn. I'm sorry. So she was just telling me how she listened and she remembered back to her childhood, how she was weird and how she struggled with embracing herself and loving herself. And even as an adult, she struggled with it now, but she thanked me for, helping her alter her perception concerning being weird. And that blessed me. And it blessed me because, sometimes I do things, and I'm saying again, and, I'm sorry, guys, but sometimes I do things and I have unrealistic expectations. Sometimes I release some things and I expect certain people that I know that are either in my circle or that I know that it could really be a blessing to. I expect them to respond to what I have released. Hear me out. That's not always the case. And you have to remember why you're doing what you're doing. You have to remember your why, because sometimes we can get caught up in what we're viewing as lack of support. And I'm not going to talk about that because I think I talked about that on another podcast and I'm not going to go into that, but this is helping me segue into what we're talking about. So anyway, I thanked her for that because I found myself after that webinar, I found myself a little discouraged because I kind of expected more feedback from that because I know personally how many people, or I know personally that a lot of people struggle with the concept of them being called weird or identifying themselves as weird and trying to change and alter their behavior to fit in. So I really thought that this was going to be the webinar that took off. I felt like this was going to be the one. This was going to be the one to take us to the next level or take us to the next dimension. And I'm not saying that it will not be. I'm not saying that it will not be. I'm saying that my narrow vision at the time didn't see much of it. And I had to sit back and really begin to remember why I do what I do. I don't do it for clicks. I don't do it for likes. I don't do it for people to, I guess, pump my head up. It's great to have support, and it's great knowing that people are being blessed by it. But, I'll be honest with you, I can pump my own head up. I want to see people's lives transformed. So if that means one person's life is transformed, two people's lives are transformed, 100, 500, 1,000, 1,500, hundreds of thousands, all the way up to 1 million. It doesn't matter how many it is. If one person's life is impacted, then it was successful. So the reason why I want to reach out to each and every one of you on tonight is I want you to know I may not be able to be there physically to support as much as I used to be, or that I desire to be, or I might not be able to watch all of your videos or your teachings or your, inspirational messages, or I might not be able to purchase everybody's merch right now. I'm positioning myself to be able to do that. Or perhaps we should collaborate so that I can get your merch mentioned here on the podcast and we can work that thing out. Perhaps we should do that. info@cliftonpettyjohn.com. But anyway, what I'm saying is it may not seem that I'm there in the capacity that I once was there. And it may not seem like my support is as strong as it once was. I want you to take a step back and then not even just with me. You might be feeling like that with a lot of people, because I know I was. And be honest with you, I was bad with some people. I was angry with some people. I was upset with some people. I was figuring out how I could get them back and teach them a lesson and all of those things. But if you listen to the last podcast, you know that I'm not one that's able to hold grudges. Why? Because I house solutions. You can't house effective solutions while holding or housing grudges. You can go back and listen to that podcast and find out how grudges can taint the solution that you're supposed to offer. Okay. But I want you all to be encouraged to understand, and we've said it before, and I think we know it is kind of a cliche, but people are listening that may never say they're listening. People are watching that may never say they're watching. People are being inspired that may never say they're being inspired. People are being ignited that may never tell you they're being ignited. So you have to continue on, and you have to keep your forehead set as flint, and you have to keep your focus on the goal, and you have to remember your why. You have to remember what you were called, purposed, and created to do. And you got to do that in a capacity that everything in you screams what you have been called and created to do. Are you thinking of selling or buying your dream home? Then contact Harrison Damerkin, the People's Agent. As a licensed realtor in both Delaware and Maryland, Harrison desires to help you sell or buy your home, and he promises you that your experience with him will be great. Call or text him today at 302-260-0659 or email him at harrisondamerkant@gmail.com. So I simply want to encourage you on today. As I said, I want you to keep going. I want you to know you're needed. I want you to know that you are valued. I want you to know you are awesome. I want you to know that you are amazing. I want you to know that you may have been before your time. However, there are some that have accelerated and understand the need for you right now so that their future can be infused with purpose. So I don't want you to give up. I don't want you to walk away. I want you to lift your head up. I want you to cry if you have to cry. Take a moment if you have to take a moment. Do whatever it is that you need to do to catch your breath. But I need you to catch your breath and continue to do what you were called, created, destined, and purposed to do. Why? Because the world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for you. The world is waiting for you. If you follow me, you know that in December on my radio show, I shared what God dealt with me prophetically about concerning 2020. Now, I know a lot of people heard that God said it was 2020, the year of he was perfecting vision and clearing up vision, and he's doing all of those great and amazing things. However, he did not deal with me concerning that. He told me that this was the year of the creative. This was the year he was going to flip the script and put the creative in the forefront. Now, I don't know if you follow a lot of different things. However, with the quarantine, a lot of us have had to reposition ourselves and connect with that creative monster or that creative genius that resides inside of us. Why? Because everything that was connected to the economic system that we have been accustomed to, with either making money, adding value, or doing whatever it is, especially as speakers and whatever it is that you do, you had to become more creative with it. The year of the creative. It was a year that you had to take the creative power back in your hand. You had to eliminate the middleman, and now you have to begin to produce on your own. I know some of you, we have mixed feelings concerning the Nick Cannon thing. I'm not going to speak out concerning it. All I'm going to say is that if he really believes what he said, then it is time for him to position himself for ownership of distribution of his content so that he can express how he feels. Because there are many people now that are afraid to express how they feel because they don't have ownership of that content. That's a little sidebar there. Because if you ask me, I believe he should have stood up for what he said. Now, I do understand, I'm going to be honest with you, as a person that understands how the world works, he has to apologize because he's probably looking at the bigger picture with the money. But that's why we learn to position ourselves as creatives, that we are not just continuing to create great content for other people that will have the ability to oppress us or oppress our message or oppress what we stand for. And we begin to create it and distribute it ourselves. And we unite together with like-minded people if we're not able to fund the creation of it or the distribution of it ourselves. We are stronger together. I will continue to say that. Those who are progressive, who desire to see changes in certain areas where change needs to be made, we are stronger together. And that was free. But God said it was a year of the creative. It was a year of the creative. He did not tell me that the coronavirus was going to come, which was going to provoke creatives to have to revisit everything that they have been doing and everything they've been accustomed to. Well, everybody to do that. He didn't tell me it was coming that way. He just said it was going to be the year of the creative. He was repositioning the creative. So that's why you cannot quit. You have a solution. You have a solution. You have a solution. You have a solution. The problem is that sometimes we submit to the problems that we are the solution to. So you cannot quit, baby. Probably hear the squeaky chair in the background too. I'm sorry. But you are the solution. The problem only continues to grow and develop when the solution doesn't realize they are the solution. And you're worried about somebody acknowledging the fact that you are the solution. How about you acknowledge the fact? Because sometimes people can't acknowledge what we refuse to acknowledge. Thank you, Cliff. That was for you. People cannot acknowledge what we refuse to acknowledge. And the reality is that we have refused to acknowledge the knowledge that we possess, that if applied becomes wisdom. We refused to understand that we are the solution that we keep looking for externally. But that's okay. That's why you connect with a conversationalist. That's why we connect with each other. Because if I can connect with you, we have communication. We have an exchange between each other. We have a conversation. Thank you, Cliff. I said we have communication. Well, communication is part of conversation. We have a conversation. It's kind of like when Elizabeth, I know I'm going Bible kind of hard on this one. Oh, well, it's in me. When Elizabeth and Mary met and Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, was inside of Mary, and I was going to say it was inside of Elizabeth. Boy, I've been teaching all wrong, huh? And John the Baptist, John the Baptizer, the one that prepared the way, was inside of Elizabeth, and said when they met each other, something began to happen on the inside, and that something that happened on the inside began to flow outside. It began to flow outside. That's what happens when you meet somebody that also holds a solution, that pulls upon the solution that's inside of you. You pull upon the solution inside of them. Something begins to happen that now no longer can remain internally. It begins to have an effect externally. So today what's going on is I'm speaking to your purpose, to your design, to the baby that's inside of you. I am speaking to it, and I am commanding it to live right now. I'm not even just causing it to exist anymore. No, baby, you shall live. You shall speak boldly. You shall walk boldly. You shall produce boldly. You shall be searched out, and no longer will you hide from being found. Those who will search for you will find you now, because you will position yourself as the solution and not as one who is submitted to the problem. So I speak prophetically to you today, to your purpose, to your design, to the call, to the mandate that's upon your life, that's within you, the essence of your creation that's inside of you. I encourage you on today. I stretch you on today, and I push you forward on today. All right, so listen, that's a wrap. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Listen, if you are listening to this part, here's what I need you to do. If you enjoyed this podcast, and I believe you did, you know why? Because I'm getting excited, and I'm going to go back and listen to the replay as well. This thing done stirred me up. So if you have enjoyed it, I want you to text transforming. No. I'm sorry. I'm great. Go to Transformation Radio on y'all. I want you to text I receive it to 302-648-5544. Again, text I receive it 302-648-5544. I want you to do that. Why? Because each and every one of you that does that, you're going to be entered for a drawing for a prize. I'm going to be giving away on upcoming episodes. So I want you to do that. I want you to let me know you're enjoying it, guys, because if not, then we can shut this whole thing down. Psych! There are people that are waiting to hear this message. So I appreciate you guys. I love you. As I always say, create a great day, walk with purpose, and by all means, yo, execute your vision. Peace. Many people define stagnation as not producing or being at a standstill. I get it. However, I would like to add a little weight to the definition and say that I may be producing, I may be moving. However, my production and my movements are disrespectful to the purpose that's inside of me, to the greatness that's inside of me. If that's going on, that's stagnation as well. And that's okay. Guess why? Because I have developed a tool. I wrote a book called From Stagnation to Transformation. And that book was written specifically for individuals that feel stuck, that feel lost, that feel like they're just wandering in the wilderness, that feel like I need something is just missing. It's okay. I want you to head over to www.cliftonpettyjohn.com/transformation. There you're going to find a complimentary portion of the book. That's right. A complimentary portion of the book. I want you to read that portion. After that, it's going to ignite such a fire inside of you that you're going to want to purchase your personal copy of From Stagnation to Transformation. So I want you to do that as well. Why? Because I believe that it'll give you a 21-day jump start to fulfilling or re-identifying purpose in whatever core area you find yourself stagnant in. So again, visit www.cliftonpettyjohn.com/transformation.